It's February, and if you haven't set your 2026 goals yet, I have something to tell you. Good. And I mean it good. Because while everybody else is beating themselves up over their failed resolution, feeling guilty about the goals they haven't even started, or even forcing themselves to stick to plans that don't even fit their lifestyle, you get to opt out of that entire cycle. I'm Diane, and I help soulpreneurs organize both their business backend and their internal states. And today I want to talk to you about why the entire resolution culture is designed to fail and what actually works instead. Here's what I see every single February. Brilliant, capable entrepreneurs feeling like failure because they didn't stick to some arbitrary goal that they set on January 1st when they were probably full of champagne and optimism. But the problem isn't you. The problem is the entire framework that you've been sold. So if you've been feeling behind, or if you've been feeling guilty, if you're wondering why you can't make your goals stick, this one's for you. Let's talk about anti-resolution revolution. First, let me tell you something that might come as a relief. Aries season starts March 20th. That's the astrological new year, the actual energetic reset point. January 1st, that's an arbitrary date on a calendar created by people who didn't understand natural rhythms or seasonal cycles. You know what January energy is actually good for? Rest, reflection, going within. It's the dead of winter. Your body and your energy want to hibernate, not launch into some massive goal-setting mode. But resolution culture tells you to ignore all that and to push, to hustle. Start strong, have everything figured out by January 1st. And then your nervous system, which is literally wired to slow down in the middle of winter, can't sustain that artificial energy. And then you blame yourself. You think you lack discipline. You think that you're lazy. You think everybody else has it figured out and you don't. You've missed the boat. But what if I told you the entire system is designed to make you fail? Not because anybody is trying to hurt you. Please don't hear that. But because it fundamentally misunderstands how humans actually work. So no, you're not behind. You're actually right on time, my friend. And we're going to build something better. Let me give you 3 belief shifts that will completely change your approach to your business this year. Belief shift number 1. Your nervous system is running the show. Here's what actually happens when you set goals January 1st. You're excited, you have a list, you're finally going to get organized, create consistent content, launch that program, clean up your back end, show up on social media every day. And for about a week, maybe 2, you do. You're motivated, man. You are on it. And then falls apart. And not because you lack willpower, but because your nervous system looks at that chaotic back end, the overflowing inbox, the scattered files, the to-do list scattered everywhere, 20 browser tabs open, tasks that live partly in your head, partly on paper, partly in an app. And it says, nope, this isn't safe. We can't handle this. Because your goals require a certain nervous system capacity. But if your back end is chaos, if your systems are triggering stress responses all day, you don't have the capacity available. It's like trying to run a marathon while carrying a 100-pound backpack. The problem isn't your running ability. The problem is the weight that you're carrying. So you set these beautiful goals, create more content, launch a program, show up on socials every day. But your nervous system is spending all of its energy just trying to run the chaos in your current back end. You think you're procrastinating. You think you're self-sabotaging, but what's actually happening is your nervous system is protecting you from taking on more than what your foundation can hold. And no amount of motivation or goal setting is going to override a biological response. Belief shift number 2, resolution culture is designed to fail. Here's how the resolution culture works. On January 1st, you're supposed to set big ambitious goals, create detailed action plans, commit to massive change, do it all at once, and sustain it through willpower. And when you can't, you fall off by February. And you're told it's because you didn't want it bad enough. You weren't disciplined enough. You didn't plan well enough. You lacked commitment. But here's what nobody tells you. The research on behavior change shows that willpower is a limited resource. It depletes. And trying to change everything at once is the fastest way to change nothing. Resolution culture is designed around a myth that you can force transformation through motivation and discipline. But motivation is temporary. Discipline is exhausting sometimes. And neither of them address the real barriers to change. Let me tell you what I see with my clients. They come to me in February or March, exactly where we are right now, feeling defeated. They set their goals in January, had them all mapped out, didn't stick with them, again, and they're starting to believe that something is wrong with them. But when we look at their back end, we find an inbox with thousands of unread emails, creating constant anxiety, files scattered across desktops and downloads and folders with no organization, tasks living everywhere or nowhere, maybe just in their head, and no real system for even managing their actual day-to-day work. So I say you didn't fail because of discipline. You failed because you tried to build a second story on a house with no foundation. So the problem isn't your goals. The problem is that you don't have an infrastructure to support them. Belief shift number 3, you need infrastructure, not inspiration. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop setting goals. Start setting infrastructure. I mean, it's truly that simple. Because goals are about what you want to achieve. Infrastructure is about creating the conditions that make achievement inevitable. Let me give you an example. Instead of setting a goal to consistently post on social media, you build infrastructure, a simple content planning system that feels safe to your nervous system, a file organization structure that you can actually find your content ideas, an inbox system so that you're not constantly reactive, time blocks that protect your creative energy. See the difference? The goal focuses on the outcome. The infrastructure creates the condition that makes the outcome natural. And here's what happens when you build infrastructure first. You stop relying on willpower. You stop fighting yourself. You stop feeling like you're forcing everything because your systems are supporting you instead of sabotaging you. I had a client, a wellness coach, who came to me last March. She'd set goals in January to launch a group program and to grow her email list and create consistent content. By March, she had done none of it, and she felt like a failure. When we looked at her back end, guess what we found? Over 5,000 unread emails, and no judgment, I'm just giving you facts. No file organization system. Her task list entirely in her head, no SOPs, no protected time for her content creation because she was constantly putting out fires. So when her and I worked together, we didn't even work on her goals. We worked on her back end, on that infrastructure. We spent 5 weeks in strategic blueprint, cleaning up and organizing her inbox with simple systems, creating file folder structure that made sense for her brain, setting up a task management system that she could trust. And she built protected time blocks in her calendar. We also addressed the nervous system piece so she could actually use the systems. 3 months later, she launched that program. She had 300 new email subscribers. And she was creating content weekly, not because she suddenly got more disciplined or had willpower, but because she built the infrastructure that made it possible. So what does infrastructure actually look like? Let me give you my framework. I call it the system sanctuary, and it has 4 pillars. Pillar 1 is cultivating clarity. It's about knowing your North Star, your North Star, not somebody else's. Before you build any system, you need to know, what am I actually building toward? Not what the gurus say, not what looks good on Instagram, what actually aligns with my vision in my life. For soulpreneurs, this often means asking, what does success look like when it includes rest, when it includes my family, when it honors my energy instead of depleting it? Pillar number 2 is radical simplification. Less is more for your nervous system. Every app you're using, every folder structure, every task management, if it's not serving you, then it's draining you. Radical simplification means, what can I remove? What can I consolidate? What can I make so simple that my brain does not have to think about it? This complexity creates cognitive load, and cognitive load drains the energy that you need to do your work. Pillar number 3, nourishing your nervous system. Your body is your business's most vital asset. And if your nervous system is constantly being activated by your chaotic back end, you don't have access to your creativity, your strategic thinking, or your intuition. So this pillar is about creating systems that feel safe, that tell your system, we've got this, you can relax, nothing is going to fall through the cracks. Pillar number 4 is cultivating creative flow. Systems set you free. They don't cage you. I'm going to say it again. Systems set you free. They don't cage you. A lot of people think it's the other way around. But when your back end is handled, when your nervous system feels safe, when you have clarity and simplification, that's when your creativity comes back. You're not spending your energy managing chaos. You're spending it on the work that actually matters, the work that called you into entrepreneurship in the first place. Here's why this approach is totally different than any other productivity system or goal-setting framework that you've ever tried. Most systems focus on doing more, being more productive, organizing your time, hustling harder, getting a shiny new tool or platform. This approach focuses on creating the conditions where you can do your best work without burning out. Most systems ignore your nervous system completely. They treat you like a machine that needs programming. This approach recognizes that you are a human being with a body that responds to stress, chaos, overwhelm. And when you create systems that honor that, everything changes. Most systems give you more tools, more apps, more strategies, and they just end up adding to your overwhelm. This approach simplifies, it removes, it creates space. And here's what my clients tell me after we build this infrastructure. I feel like I can finally breathe. I'm working less and accomplishing more. I actually have energy at the end of the day. That's a good one. I'm excited about my business again instead of resenting it. That, my friends, that is what happens when you build the infrastructure instead of setting goals. If this is resonating, if you're tired of the resolution cycle, if you're ready to build infrastructure instead of just setting goals, if you can see how having a solid back end can grow your business, Strategic Blueprint is for you. It's a 5-week program where we build your complete business back end. Your inbox systems, your file structure, task management, workflows, your systems, all of it. But more importantly, we also address your nervous system, because you can't build sustainable systems when your nervous system is in overwhelm, and you can't calm your nervous system when your back end is chaos. We address both at the same time. It's 5 weeks of training dripped each week so you don't feel overwhelmed, with weekly live coaching for implementation support, a private one-on-one scaled systems strategy session after you complete the 5 weeks, and complete implementation of the 4-pillar framework. So by the time Aries season hits on March 20th, the actual energetic new year, you'll have a foundation that makes your goals inevitable instead of impossible. Link will be in the description below. And if you're not ready for a strategic blueprint yet, I have 2 free resources for you. The Aligned Action Matrix, which helps you to identify what to tackle first in your business, or my Inbox Zen Guide, which walks you through creating a calm relationship with your inbox instead of a reactive one. Both of those links will be in the description as well. But whether you work with me or not, I hope you hear this. You're not behind. You're not failing, and there is nothing wrong with you. The resolution culture that you have been sold is designed to fail, but you don't have to play that game anymore. So it's February. If you don't have your 2026 goals yet, good, because we're not doing goals. We're building infrastructure. And when Aries season hits, when the actual new year energy arrives, you're going to have that foundation to make anything possible. Drop a comment and tell me, are you feeling behind on your goals? Did you even set goals? Or are you ready to try a different approach? I read every comment and I'm genuinely interested in where you are in the process. Here's to the anti-resolution revolution, my friends. Stay gold.